Well, Simon, last time played the Crows, things did fall your way. Obviously, it's a long time ago now. What do you take into this match?
Yeah, obviously, the Crows came in with a really strong plan against us last time and they executed to a really high level. The game became a bit of a shootout, which is certainly not the way that we'd like to play. But, they played a good game. We know that they can challenge in certain areas of the game and we're going to have our game in good shape to get the result.
So, I mean, you mentioned post-game on Monday, you wouldn't be afraid to rest some sore players. Obviously, you had a bit of a hectic schedule going into that game and it was a tough game. Have you had any sort of thoughts on what that might mean for this week?
Yeah, look, we're pretty clear with our philosophy around our players. We want to create a winning culture. We want to keep continuity and cohesion within our team. But in saying that, if guys are sore, they won't play. So Tom McDonald's still sore, so he won't play. As an example of that. But outside of that, we're pretty healthy and we'll continue to pick our team that we think is going to build the way that we want to play heading into the main part of the season.
Just on Tom, Simon, Brayden from 9 here, you said, I think last week that it was back spasms. Has it worsened or has it just not improved? What's the go there?
Yeah, it just hasn't improved the way we'd like. He's still in a training phase, but he's still sore. So we're really confident he'll play the week after. But just this week, he's still just not in the position where we think we need to take that risk. So we won't. He's still sore and we'll manage him and make sure we get him right.
Have you gone back and looked at the game from Monday night yet? And obviously it was a very strange scenario, but was it a good lesson, I suppose, into how things can get thrown out of whack and almost a good preparation for finals when things don't go to plan?
It was great learning. We went away and had a look at what happened post that lightning, stoppage in the game, and clearly we lost some areas of the game that we really value, and we shut down really quickly. Some learnings for guys on the field, but also our staff and people off the field about what's required. The clock on the game clock on the scoreboard was 59 minutes. There's some bizarre situations, but understanding the game state, we shut down very early in the game. We didn't quite play the game that we would like to in the last 6 or 7 minutes. And there was some great learning for us to take out of it. And it's an area that we've been pretty strong in throughout the year, being able to handle those situations. So it's just a great reminder of what's required in that time.
There's some reports around today that there's a possibility that we might just roll through and the pre-finals bye would be scrapped. What's your thoughts on that? Is that something you might prefer just to keep the season rolling and I suppose not have any interruptions to your form?
We'll do whatever it takes to get this season away and we'll be ready. And that's the best approach that we'll take. Our players have done an enormous amount of work. They're match hard and they're ready, and they'll do whatever the game needs to put on the best spectacle for the AFL, wherever that may be. So we're looking forward to that opportunity. We can't wait. And if it means there's no pre-finals bye, that won't impact us one bit.
Is that one of those things where you just need to know sooner rather than later for planning, given it's pretty close now?
If anyone could plan anything this season at the moment, they're geniuses. So, the AFL have done an unbelievable job to get this season away. And if anyone can tell me where games are going to be played at what time on what days in the current situation that we're in as a nation, they're better than me. And it's not my job. My job's to prepare our team as best we can. And, we feel like we're in a good space and heading in the right direction in that area.
Simon, I guess we don't know what finishing top 2 will mean this year, but are you sort of dangling the minor premiership and claiming that as a bit of a carrot, bit of a feather in the cap for this group over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, we just go back to what we want to build, and that's build a group that goes out there and competes and has a winning mindset every time they take the field, and that'll take care of itself. So, we want to be a club that wins as many games as we can and finishes as high as we can. That's always our aim, and it always will be. So that carrot's always there. Our players are driven to perform strongly week in, week out. And if that takes place, it takes place. But our priority is to just continue to build that winning mindset and winning culture, and hopefully that'll hold us in great stead moving forward.
So, I mean, just looking forward, do you have any thoughts on finals, locations, crowd v home ground advantage?
Look, as I said, this is really tough. What I would love the most of all, if I had my dream about what would take place, is that we're playing at the MCG in front of our home supporters in the biggest games of the year. That would be my ultimate dream. Is that going to take place? I've got no idea. And it looks a bit unlikely. What's the next best scenario is to finish as high as we can on the ladder, and ultimately get the choice to play wherever we'd like to play. That's ultimately what we'd love. But any time that we can include our supporters, the Melbourne supporters, in our games at the MCG, that it would be my ultimate.
So I'm just checking in on how Cozzy Pickett's doing. Obviously, a rough week for him, and the club came out strongly in support. Just how's he doing? How's the club looked up?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting topic, and I think we saw Eddie Betts talk the other night, and it's got to stop. It just has to stop. And what I took from Eddie was that as non-Indigenous, we need to take up the fight. And seeing Cozzy post-game, being able to give him a hug and see the visible distress that he was under post the game makes it incredibly upsetting as a coach. And we need to make a stand. And it's my responsibility and everyone else's responsibility to continue to educate and get people to understand that this needs to stop. Cozzy has had a tough couple of days. He's struggled. He's in a good mindset around things now, but he's got a lot of support around him as a footy club. But we will continue to fight for the Indigenous population, that this needs to stop. And Cozzy's a superhuman that we love at our footy club.
Simon, just one more, just quickly, if I might, Simon. Throughout the year, we've done a few of these presses, and you've spoken about getting the looks at your forward line. The way it's worked the last couple of weeks with Ben Brown coming good, obviously Tom McDonald will come back into it. Are you sort of more settled on what it might look like in the final?
Not really, no. We're comfortable with where our forward half sits. It's been pretty consistent for the majority of the year, besides a couple of tall players that have come in and out of the team. We're really happy with how Ben Brown's going. We think his game's developed into some really good shape. But we're really, as I said, I've said this a lot, our method will work with 2 tools, our method will work with 3 tools. We'll pick the team that we think will function best on that day and give us the best opportunity against the opposition. But we're really confident in our forward half of the ground.